Guilt will make you do crazy things. It'll make you do crazy things with your life. It will take over. It will infect your thoughts and change who you are and your perspective on things. And it's one of those things that we don't talk about a lot, yet everybody's so involved in it. You know, we think there's something wrong with us that forces us to act a different way. We sign up for Landmark or the self-help course, or, you know, how can we better ourselves because, oh man, there's something fundamentally wrong with us at the core. And that may be the truth. And we may have done wrong, but we need to learn how to be responsible for that wrong rather than just reacting to it in all these different ways. All right. And so this is something that we talk about a lot, speaking with our guilt. It's not what you want to do. You don't want to give that a voice. And we give it a voice all the time for our sexuality, all the time for our relationships and the things that are most important in our lives. And it all stems from that thing of, I am not good enough. Man, what a crazy, crazy thing. And this actually comes up mainly because there was this whole video series I did on cheating and, different perspectives on it. And basically what I was saying is this guy asked me, he said, man, should I tell my girlfriend that I cheated on her? And it was a while ago, but I'm overwhelmed with guilt and this horrible thing. And it's the right thing to do. And I watched so-and-so give a speech on how you have to be a man and authentic, probably not knowing that guy's probably full of shit in his own life. And I got to do the right thing. I'm going to tell her. I was like, man, why the fuck are you going to tell her? Why are you going to tell her that? I'm not saying that you should lie. I'm not saying that you need to, trick her more. But I'm saying, why is it that you need to tell her? Why is it that you right now have to tell her? Because you're in pain? Because you think you did something wrong? Because you're overwhelmed with it? Yeah, good for you. You're the one who made the mistake. Now, let's not make the same mistake of causing more harm to somebody else. And that also doesn't mean that you go and you rationalize it going like, oh man, I don't have to apologize and be responsible for who I am because it might hurt them and I'm, playing God and deciding what's best. But how you need to be responsible for who you are, what you've done, and all the different things in your life does not need to come with this presentation of you feeling bad for yourself and you're going to feel like a goddamn hero because you can now be honest with somebody. Okay? And man, this is one of the things I fucking hate, man. I hate this shit. I can't stand it. I get a call from somebody I don't know. I haven't talked to him for a long time. They're like, oh, Steve, how are you doing? Man, I'm so excited to talk to you. Like, how's business going? How are these things? How are you and the kids? Like, I wanted to call you because I did a Landmark forum this weekend and there were some things that went, and I'm just like, oh, fuck. Just, hey, dude, I'll talk to you later. No, I got to talk. No, I know it's coming. You're going to apologize to me for something because you feel bad about it and it's making you a better person for doing it. Dude, I don't give a shit. It's all good. No, but I have to tell you because it's part of my respect to you and what I need because I did this and that and I took some money. I didn't fully pay you. And I just want to make that a good thing. I want to make that something that is right in your life. And I go, dude, you don't need to worry about it. It's all good, man. I get that you were just bullshit. You did a script of how you're going to say hello to me and ask about my family and ask about who I was, just so you could do this little exercise of, amends that you're totally fucking up so that, you can feel better about yourself and you can go and high five your friends and talk about how good it felt to do that. See, this is something that really, really makes me mad because me being a recovery person, a 12-step person, there's plenty of flaws within recovery people and I get it. But this is one of those things that I took very carefully when it came to amends with people and making something better. I was apologizing or I was asking for forgiveness or I was making things right in a way that did not contribute to the selfish needs that I had, that I was doing it because it was the right human thing to do. I wanted to bring things back to balance. All right. So if I went up to somebody and I said, man, I have wronged you in your life, it wasn't so that I got gratification from it. It wasn't so that you looked at me better. And it wasn't so that I could go back to my meetings or my groups of people that I did this with and say, I did it, man. Finally, I'm a cured and good person and I don't have to walk around like a piece of shit in society. I did it so that I could get things back to zero. So that if there was any chance I could amend the wrongs that were done and do the closest thing that could bring things back to normal. And a lot of times that's impossible. So if I were to cause more harm, more confusion, or if there was a selfish need in me talking to somebody, most likely I didn't do that or I did it when the time presented itself. But if there was something where I needed to make effort like, hey man, we haven't talked about this and I owe you money, I'm going to go do that. Yeah, I'm going to take initiative on that. If there was something where there was some unresolved and I had to call somebody up and the situation wasn't going to take care of itself and I needed to clear it up, I was going to do that. But one thing that I did before any of that is I made sure none of it was about my guilt. None of it was about just me feeling bad. And everything was about bringing things back to balance. It was also not to lower myself. And so we need to learn this about responsibility. And man, I cannot stand it when people do this shit to me and it's for a selfish reason. It's for a selfish cause. You know how fucked up that is? You know how many times guys fuck this up with whatever it is about sex or who they are or who they think they are? And man, you want to know what really taught me how to get guilt out of my life was doing this in the right way. Anybody that I wronged, anybody that I still wrong to this day, I write it down on a piece of paper. I write exactly what I did. Not how I feel, not, oh man, well, I snubbed this person and that's because I'm a bad guy and I have this ego that makes me do this and that. I was like, no, man, I snubbed this person and I disrespect them in front of other people. All right. Then I go, what should I do to bring things back to balance that has nothing to do with me, serving me, and what would be the right way to communicate this without adding more fuel to the fire, instigating drama, having that person argue back with me. And I basically write that down, right? So it's like, well, I snubbed them. Well, I could just pull them aside privately and say, hey man, I was a dick to you on Friday night and that was totally fucked up. I want to be more aware of it. It's an asshole thing. Is there anything I can do, to make this right? And then if they say, yeah, suck my dick or kiss my ass, I say, man, that's not really appropriate in the thing, but I get it. I get that you're still pissed. Sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have brought it up. And then before I actually take that action and say it to this person, I run it by another person. And I run it by that person. I say, hey man, I was a dick to so-and-so on Friday night or whatever night it was. And what's the best way to solve this? How can I bring it up? And maybe that person says, dude, man, don't worry about it. Next time you see him or bump into him, just be a little bit nice to him. Sometimes when you make a bigger deal out of something that isn't such a big deal, man, it creates a whole new set of problems around it. And maybe you should stop. Or maybe they say, you know what, you're being a little bit selfish with that way of an amends. And maybe you should do this instead. See, the problem is we go out like the Wild West into our emotional lives, into our sexual lives, building relationships with people, just reacting to the world around us rather than learning to make choices around us. And we walk into these lives without the sanity and the clarity of emotional well-being. See, when you're confused about yourself, when you're confused about, your emotions, about what you did, you got a bunch of guilt sitting around in your soul, and you got a bunch of sadness in you, or you're in a lot of pain, all you can think about is getting out of that pain. You cannot make a choice. And we sit there and we say, we want the best in life, but we're unwilling to actually work on ourselves in a way that's real and confronting and really is us. Man, what do we expect to get from that? You actually expect to get some benefit from that? No, man, you got to work on yourself. Or if you want a good life, if you want a good life that has all the benefits of whatever it is you want and you think is going to make you happy, start working on yourself first. All right? Stop being a selfish motherfucker with your guilt, your promises, your amends process, and all this sort of stuff, and learn how to communicate and do it in a real way.